Morning. Divine rising. Oops, I sat that down and it bumped my mouse and made this side thing pop out. There we go. Apparently I need to keep that close by. Good morning, good morning. It is Thursday, May 29th, and I'm going to share out the live because I broadcast to both YouTube and TikTok. So I'm going to, hi Big Show. So I'm just going to do the sharing because sharing is caring. And I always say I got to lead by example. So if I'm asking people to share, I should share myself. Good morning, Marici. Buenos dias. Give me 1 second to share this out to people. It's actually going to take a little more than 1 second, to be fair. It's probably going to take me a couple of minutes. Their system for sharing is, I don't know, I mean, it works. Hello, how are you, Illuminated Illusions? Nice name. Did you do a name change? Did you do a name change recently? Or am I just thinking your picture maybe reminds me of somebody else? Yeah? Okay. What was your previous name? Because I might recognize it from that. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's who I thought. I looked and I was like, that's Dark Till Dawn. And I love the new name. It's beautiful, beautiful. So I'm glad I was right. But I was hesitant to say it. I was like, if I say that's Dark Till Dawn and it's not, I'm going to be like, oh. Hi, Steve. Thank you. Always coming in with a compliment. Glory be to God for sure. For sure. All right, let me continue. I was doing the whole sharing is caring and leading by example. So if I'm asking you guys to share, I should probably share. So let me do that. Grand Rising, how are you? How are you? I can't believe I actually started on time today. But I did. I managed to do that. This morning was a bit of an emotional morning for me, and I'll explain in a moment why it was an emotional morning for me. Nothing bad, but sometimes you have to take that time and hold yourself, right? Hold yourself in that space. So I was, yeah, nice. Me too. Me too. Well, Sharia and Lorian is actually my soul name. It's a part of my soul name. And you have a true soul name too that you can be opened up to. I can actually do that for people. I can reveal their true soul name at whatever level they're able to receive that. It's information it goes through frequency gates. And the whole point is like, you don't want to give so much information to everybody all at once. And, you think about way back before you ever were awake. And for some of us, we've always been awake. But for those of us that were never awake, if you think about where you are now versus where you were before you awoke at all, and all that you know, and if you think about the knowledge that you still don't know, right? If all of that was in there, I have a thing for you. I have a soul note. So I brought out these little donation things. My gosh, it's like squirrels in my brain right now, but I'm super excited because I found a house. So I get to move into my own place. It's a short term. The person that's renting it, it's a sublet of his space for 3 months. Right. And I know, like I can feel, I'm so excited about that. But in the process, the experience that I've had because of everything that led me to where I was and toxic relationships and, moving and, the company not doing as well as I required. And, like I just keep showing up. I keep showing up whether or not money shows up for me or anybody else shows up. I show up for me, for my company, and that's what I do. But it led me through toxic relationship and financial hardship to coming back home and staying with my mom, which I'm not actually allowed to do because she lives in a seniors building. And a few weeks ago, my mom was given an eviction notice for me, and that if I didn't leave, then she would be getting evicted. So anyway, I had emergency of having to move out. So I've opened up some offers for a donation basis to help me to get into my own place. And the one offer that I'm offering for $33 Canadian is a soul note. And this is where I channel your higher self and your guides, and I write a letter from them to you. So it's a letter from them. I'm just the conduit for the letter. And then I have one that's longer where if you have some questions or you have something, that and it explores it on a deeper level, depending on what your higher self says. Maybe you'll get information about past lives. Maybe you'll certainly get information that will kind of guide you in the direction of your highest good and your highest timeline, because that's all your Oversoul wants you is to have those experiences. And we make the choice what we're going to experience down here because of free will, and there's a lot of interference, right? So so anyway, I do those two notes, and the voice note is about 7 to 10 minutes in length, depending on everything that comes up. And what else was I going to say about the soul note? I don't know. And I also have a sit down with it, but yeah. So anyway, today is the last day that I actually see my mom before I move. And so that had me being a little bit triggered in my inner child space. And I knew what was happening. It's that all those residual moments of abandonment coming up. And I'm saying, and I know I'm not being abandoned. I'm quite delighted about moving into my own place. But I can say that it's very amazing to witness the change in me and my mom and our relationship in the last year. So, when I first came here, and I did move out for a little while, like I came and stayed for a little while, and then I left last summer for about 3 months, and then I came back and stayed with my mom again. But when I first came here, I couldn't wait to get out of here. The energy was just too much. Just so many things with our relationship and just clashing. And anytime that my mom could be away, I was like, yes, peace, quiet, silence, my own energy, just my own energy. But as time went on, because of the healing that we've done and the healing within our relationship, and the fact that, I have enforced boundaries, and, like I call people on their stuff in a loving way. And because of having those conversations and my mom being receptive to it, we've healed our relationship significantly. So that makes me very happy that at this point, I'm sad to move away from my mom, because I've come to enjoy spending the time with her. Tea time. So here my mom and I are just like, oh. And I'm like, my goodness, I'm not moving far away. Not yet. Arizona's the next stop. So I'm like, this is just a bridge, because if it'll give me time to get that independence back. Yeah. Yeah, and that bond. And I know a lot of what's coming up is inner child, right? Is that inner child that sees, us moving apart as abandonment. So it runs in that same space, right? So it's being felt that way, even though I know that's not the case. And I also I'm so grateful for the experience that we've got to have, for the time that we've got to spend together, and for the fact that I'm actually sad as opposed to happy. Like if I was just like, yes, fine, I'm going, right? Like then that the relationship probably wasn't in a great space, right? So it's been so healing, so bonding, and so healing, and it's been absolutely amazing. And I can honestly say she is one of my biggest supporters And it's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. So that's why I was taking my time this morning. And then I ended up being on time, which I thought was weird because normally, on the days when you're taking your time, for me especially, actually, it's an hour late. But I was really smart though, because I also set the group meeting for the Bridge to Light people for the Bridge to Light crew today. So everybody from the School of Light is invited to come and join in that session. So we can come and hang out and talk and share and see where everybody's at. And it'll be really supportive and awesome. So, so you're invited if you're a part of that group for sure. Yeah. Today we're going to talk about the gate of devotion. That's what the title of today's session is. But I wanted to just sit and chat and hang out with you guys for a little bit first, right? I'm so looking forward to the new house though. I went out there the other day to look at it and to sign the lease. And it's going to be so nice. It's going to be so, so nice. Right? I love you. I really do. I have a sublease for 3 months. So I'm subletting a person's place for 3 months. I'm still securing the funds for the rest of the money that I need to move in. I'm close, and I'm very I have faith that everything is coming together as it needs to be. And yeah, so I have faith that everything's working out. Everything's going to work out. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Yeah, it's going to be fine. Hi, Jean. Hi. Yeah. So that's been an amazing experience of the last year, is that deepening and growth and, love in the relationship that I've had that my mom and I have had, and how it's grown, and, to just see her showing up. And that's done so much healing for that little inner child. And this right now is more healing. And that's all it is. It's just an opportunity to hold yourself in a moment that previously you weren't held. And same thing, like my mom and I, before she left today, we hugged, like a really good hug, right? And and she's going to be back on Sunday. I'll meet her somewhere on Sunday and we'll hang out briefly, right? And I'm also very much the type of person, and this is where trauma can serve you, because I'm somebody that when you make that switch, when the switch goes, the switches go, and then you're good, right? So I just have to move to that next point, and once I'm there, I'm gonna be like, yes. I'm fine. It's just that the moment before it all is. Hi, Crystal. How are you? It's been a while, love. So yeah, it's just, you know what I mean? Like the moment before is harder than the moment afterwards. Once I've moved in, I'm going to be like, yes, I'm going to be waking up with nature all around me. I'm going to have a deck that, I can sit on. And even if it's only for 3 months, I don't care. It's 3 months in a nice place, and we'll see where we go next, right? Life's an adventure, and I tend to have a lot of them. I did not choose a boring life, apparently. And, that's just the way that it is. So you just embrace it, right? You embrace it and go with it, and, and know that someday I'll have my forever home. Someday I won't move. Someday I'll find ground and I'll root myself there, and then I'll just travel. I'll just travel everywhere, but I'll have a main base at least. Yeah, someday. Expecting absolutely. Yep, exactly. Right. There are moments I can remember of my childhood with my mom, where she was loving or tender, but they were also interspersed with abuse and neglect, and also lots of other people who also were abusive, neglectful, and so on and so forth in every way imaginable. So I also wasn't protected. That was one of the things that I felt my mom really failed to do, was protect me. So we've had a lot of trauma between the two of us. And for us to get to this point that we're at is absolutely amazing. Because I know in a heartbeat. Ask my girls. I know in a heartbeat, if I got into a situation with a man that was going to was going to beat me up or something, my mom would show up and she would throw fists and she would kick his butt. Like my mom would literally go toe to toe with a guy and kick his butt. Like my mom would find any way that she could to help me in any situation that I'm in. So that's something that that I've come to see in my mom now. And I might not have gotten that as a child, but having it now, I mean, it's beautiful that our relationship was able to move to that point. Give me a second. I just have a phone. Okay. Just making sure my mom wasn't calling because she just left, but it was just a stupid spam call. So we're fine. All right. I'm going to have some sippy. Yeah. My mom's like, you know what? She goes to me before she leaves. She's like, she goes, I'll promise you this. She said, after I come back from like going and help, because she'll be back when we move. But after I move in, she goes, after I'm home for, like whatever, say a week or 10 days or something, she said, I'll come up and I'll spend a couple of days at your house. She said, by then you'll be, you'll be missing me and, you'll be ready for a visit or something. And I'm like, probably by that point, I'll be all happy I was alone. I'll be all happy. I'll have my routines established. I'll be all like in my groove and I'll be like, yeah, independence is great. My mom laughs at me. Yeah. A lot of us were like, when you think about it, the way that you live through your life and your belief system is completely dependent upon what you were taught by your parents, what you were taught by society, what you were taught by your friends, like your peers, all your friends, your families, like everything. As you are born into the world, you're born into whatever space you're in, and that's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn from them. Hi, Rejoice. You're going to learn, right? Maybe we won't even do it like an actual session today like that. Maybe we'll just free roll it today and we'll just talk. Maybe we'll just talk today. We'll do an old one. I'll pull out some cards and right? So then we get to relearn or remember what the truth is. That's what we're here to do. It's not about fixing you because you're broken. It's none of that. It's just remembering. It's remembering who and what you are, and that there are certain things that you assigned yourself. We're not supposed to come here and suffer. Right? Like that's not what Earth is about. That's what it has been hijacked to become at this time. And many of us have incarnated through a false incarnation loop. And this false incarnation loop is set to trap your soul. So when people talk about it, and Dolores Cannon was somebody that talked about it a lot years ago. And she'd talk about it because that's the people that she was talking to, right? Never want to change your past, want to heal your future. Oh yeah, your past, like when you're on your healing journey, one of the things that you should do is thank the shadow. You should thank the experience. As much as that may seem horrific, because I know I was a child, I was a survivor of child abuse of all kinds of it. Sexual abuse from a very young age, physical abuse. The first time I was physically abused, I was 6 months old. So I know abuse in every fiber because it was ingrained in me through through such early childhood experiences and then on, right? Chaos and, dysfunction was, a big, huge part of my life experiences. To be a child and move over 50 times in your life, like that's insane. And I've moved even more now. Like that hasn't changed. I haven't got to the point yet where I've found a forever space where I stop moving, right? When I think about the number of moves I've had in the last 4 years alone, I mean, it's just, it's just crazy. It's just crazy, right? But like if we didn't have, so that it's a teacher, the experiences that you have are teachers. They're also, they teach you, and they teach you to remember, which is a weird way to say it, but that's the best way that I can think of capturing it, right? It is, I'm so proud of where you guys are now too. I am. I'm super proud of you. Um, but it's that when you're met with that something in your world that hits you in that space, right? It's to trigger you to remember who you are or how you're meant to live, right? Like when something comes up and you're like, that, no, right? Eventually you hit your no and you're like, I'm not going to live like this anymore. I'm not going to be this way anymore. I'm not going to experience things like this anymore, right? That's what you end up doing. Aw, I'm so happy that I, you know, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I I speak a lot of information, and and it's a two-part relationship, right? It's absolutely everything within this is a two-part relationship, and it's really important that you recognize that it's you that's the one that does it, right? It's you. I'm like, if you think about how everything, like you have, they talk about the trifecta, but when you talk about just the pairing, like how twos go together. So your spirit is the heaven portion and your body is the temple or the earth portion. So when you bring your spirit into your body, when you fully embody your spirit, then you bring heaven to earth. And that's how we create heaven on earth, is through the embodiment of who and what you are in its in its truthfulness and its honesty and the divine truth of it. Right. And we have so many things in our lives that have distorted us and distorted our concepts of what we're truly meant to live like, or what, how to treat ourselves sacredly. Like there's so much depravity in society that's thrown at us as a way that we're meant to live. Right. And it's like, like you get how little kids now, like I remember years ago when they opened up a La Senza children's division, and you're just like, why would they need lingerie for little girls? And parents are like, this is so cute, or it's this, or it's women empowerment. It's like, how is dressing your toddler in lingerie empowering? How? How? Right? But we don't, but that becomes a cultural norm almost, right? It becomes such a cultural norm to see children objectified. Right? So so then your child becomes objectified. Then you become that child that grows up in an experience where you've been objectified. Right? So then you grow up to be a woman who is, there's so much about your appearance. There's so much about, that within, it's just programming. Exactly. You get programmed. But this is not the way that we're meant to be. Our children are not meant to be sexualized. They're not meant to be, like they're meant to just experience themselves. They're meant to be, they're meant to be reminded of who they are and the divine being that they are, and to be connected to spirituality, but not spirituality like religion, not spirituality like go to church and, like in that way. Spirituality, that inner journey, that journey within to, the God that's within you. Like you embody God when you bring yourself to earth. And not that you are God. You are not God. You are not. You're separate from that. If you were that, you would be that, nothing else, right? Like God is God. So I like to think of it almost like a sunflower, right? Like you're one seed in a sunflower, right? And you think about that sunflower face and like a big, huge sunflower, and it's got like all those seeds in it. And so you have that sunflower. The sunflower's God, you're the seed, right? And as you disperse and, like you're separate from him. And, only in this scenario, that seed can travel back to God. You're still separate. You never become absorbed back into the all, right? You still you're always been that individual little bit. And yeah, we're that spark of divinity. We absolutely are. We carry it within ourselves. So the way that we're meant to live is not the way that we're living now. It is not at all. I mean, for one, if we were to build spaces to live in, we would probably build things in circles or triangles or pyramids, because we would look at form and how form has so much power with it. We would build with sound, we would build with vibration and frequency. We would, we would have light, we would have free energy, we would have crystalline waters, we would nurture the earth and have a cohesive relationship with her. It would be a partnership, because it is a partnership. And we right? Like, we would live connected to the earth. We wouldn't have chemicals in our food. We wouldn't have chemicals in our water. We wouldn't have chemicals in all the products around us, because we wouldn't need all these products. We wouldn't use all these products. We would have natural clothing with natural fibers that allowed our frequency to be maintained in the highest frequency, as opposed to ones that disrupt our frequency and lower our frequency. We wouldn't be ingesting all of this depravity. When you look at music nowadays, they literally are performing rituals on the screen. They do their concerts now are just like, it's literally, and you can't look at it and not go, what in the heck is that? Like, that is not divine in the least. In the least. So anyway, that's what we're meant to do. We're meant to return back to that divinity, and through remembering. And it's when we look at things and we're like, that, enough of that, no more of that, no more of that, right? So we are the ones that are awake first. So we're the way changers, right? We're leading the pack. We're saying, like, come on, everybody, can't you see those are not just from vapor from that's just not vapor, right? Remember back when we were kids and we used to look at big fluffy poofy clouds and we used to try to make shapes out of them, and now we're looking at like bars and and like stuff like that. Even further back, you have to, like, there's so much in that. It's so much. It's layers upon layers. And that's what we do. We lift the layer and peel back the layer and peel back another layer, getting closer and closer to our truth at the core. Stop pulling my hair. Sorry, my plant was pulling my hair. Good morning. Good morning. So yes. Why do you keep pulling my hair? Moving him's going to be fun because he's huge. Hello, Marcella. How are you? It's been a while. It's like a reunion almost. How many people showed up from the from the past gang? You know what? Let's pull out some cards. I think I'm going to actually use the Light to Your Tarot. I'm just going to do a little bit of cards. And yeah, we'll just play. And maybe what I'll do, she's huge. Just huge. And yeah. I had to put a cage around her. My mom hurt her so bad, like these ones here, but it wasn't her fault. Like, she needed to be moved into another plant, and my mom went to repot her, and there was an accident because she's much heavier and bigger than what you anticipate. And so there was an accident, and she lost about probably 4 or 5 good stalks, like good branches off of her. So yeah, I'm proud that I'm going to do some maintenance on her when I get out to the house, because I can take her out and really do a good job with setting her up. Right? The little kitten plaque. Oh, I can't wait to be in my forever home, because the plants that I'm going to have in that space, oh my God, there's going to be so many. So if you guys don't, if you guys wouldn't mind helping me, I am still short of the money that I need to move. So if you are able to donate, or if you are able to support me in any way that you can, I would appreciate that. I'm going to continue doing me and believing and having faith. I've done a bunch of things, like a bunch of work out there. Of course I have. I have 15 books published. Like, I have classes, I have soul alignment sessions, I have paid membership groups. I have so many books, like I said, 15 books published. I had a new one published just the other day. I have 2 more that are coming out in June. One for women and one for children. And it's the next book in the series of children's book that I would. And so that's that. So that's my spiel. We'll talk more about other stuff, but we got the King of Pentacles coming out. So there's some legacy wealth that we're building, right? And when you're building it based on the truth, it takes longer to get there. And it's not because it's supposed to. It's not, right? Like the reason why is because we are in an inverted world that's being controlled, and that controlling force doesn't want what we're doing, the truth and being sovereign, and like they don't want us being free, right? They want us to stay within the system. So of course there's going to be all those things to pull us back in, all the distractions, right? Like TikTok reels to reel you back in. They reel you in, right? Like that's what a reel is. TV, they say it's said out loud, TV programming, right? Like they're telling you programming. So they're reeling you in, and they're stealing. There's so many distractions out there, and there are other elements that are out there that don't want you to succeed, because you are going to wake up a whole bunch of people, and of course the more that are asleep the better. So when we're doing things truthfully, you have to remember that the algorithms are going to promote people who are working in false light. They are going to allow those people to get a really good following because they want to capture more people into a different way. It's like the concept of red versus blue, right? And what you need to do is step back from it all and say the whole thing is a game. The whole thing is a charade. The whole thing is programming, or it's manipulation, or it's whatever, right? And just step back from it all, because they give you one side, and depending on who you are, you either look at that side and you're like, ugh, or you look at that side and you're like, yeah, they're the ones that are going to fix this. They're the ones that are going to save this. And on the other side of the fence, the other person's looking at this person and they're either going, ugh, they're the worst thing in the world, or they're on that side going, oh my God, these people are going to save us. And then they're both at the top, headed for the similar kind of future for everybody. So neither one is, because the only savior is you. You save you. It's an internal job, and you can do that by becoming sovereign and by remembering who you are. So there's all these little things that are out there that take you off your path. And every day you wake up with a clean slate to choose what actions you take in the direction that you want to go in. And if you get up in the morning and you decided tomorrow, you know what, I'm going to do things differently from now on. And I'm taking that opportunity when I move into my new house, because I don't have stuff in the new house, right? I don't have groceries at all. I'm not moving from a house that I've had set up with a whole bunch of stuff. Although I can't say that I am moving with groceries, but I've been accumulating groceries. So because it's not like you're moving from old habits into new and taking those old habits with you to your new house, I get to actually pick out the groceries that I want to change my diet, so that when I go into the new house, there isn't junk in my cupboard. There's no junk in my cupboard. There's none. I will have, all of the foods that I want to eat to embody, the proper diet. So those moments are you can make that the first thing in the morning. I'm going to change what I'm going to do from now on. I'm going to eliminate all the processed foods. You can choose to do that right away. Now, you could choose to do it in steps and assign yourself, say, yeah, I'm going to eliminate all processed food from my diet. So I'm going to start now, and I'm going to take out the biggest culprits. I'm going to remove the things that are the easiest, and just keep scaling it down until you remove it all out. You don't have to do it all at once, but you can. You can get up tomorrow and you can determine to say, you know what, I don't like the job that I'm working, so I'm going to start looking for a different job. I'm going to look for a different field, or I'm going to look for a different, employer, because maybe I like the field, I just don't like the environment that I'm in, right? But I'm going to do that from a place of authority. I'm not going to do it when somebody is forcing me because I've received a layoff, or because I've been fired, or something else. I'm going to make a decision from this. I have a job, so I'm going to look for another job while I'm gainfully employed and get that next job, right? But I'm going to make that choice because I'm not happy where I am, or I'm not happy with the job that I'm doing, and I want to start my own business, or I believe that I should be doing this particular thing, and so I'm going to phase that out over time, and I'm going to make the decision now that today I'm going to take a couple of steps in the direction of that goal that I have to be self-employed or whatever it is, or I'm just going to stop engaging with my TV. I'm going to turn my TV off, or I'm going to put my phone down, and I'm going to go sit outside nature, and I'm going to take more time for me, and I'm going to connect into my body on a daily basis. And I'm actually going to have a conversation with my Oversoul, and I'm just going to, so you can make those choices whenever you want. You can choose whenever you want, and make and so start right away. Okay, so we've got the King of Pentacles. He sent me off on this whole building legacy wealth, and that it can take longer because we're in this upside down world. I gotta flip it over because they're down in front of me. We got the 10 of Cups and the Lovers card. There is the 9 of Pentacles hidden behind it, and also the 9 of turn it over so I can read it. The 9 of Wands. I'm pretty sure it's the 9 of Wands. So we've got the 2 9s in the reverse position, and these can speak more of like delays. The 9 of Wands is that determination, right? And this could be that, like there's some people may be feeling really tired. They may be feeling really tired about the delay, like how it's taking so long, right? And that faith is that standing there and waiting, knowing. But many of us give up right in that moment when you just have to have faith. You just have to keep having faith. And then that instant happens. But many of us, we lose the hope and we start to fade out of it. So when you're in that spot, and like for me, for instance, right, I need that the rest of the money so that I can move, and and there's a timeline. I mean, it's the 29th today, and the 1st isn't far off. So there's that urgency that can be attached to it, right? So what I do is toning, I do breath work, I do prayers, and affirmations. And so I do those things because then when I have a wave of, is it going to happen or what's going to happen? Then I have faith. I know everything's going to be all right. And then I'll do like fire breathing. Fire breathing is a good one because it burns off the energy, right? Or I'll write down whatever it is that's coming up and burn it in fire so that it's being transmuted. Those moments when you get triggered or when you have those things arise is the moment for you to show up for yourself and deal with it in a way that you should have done with, been taught how to deal with it, and hold yourself with compassion. So we've got this, when we're waiting for, that moment of peace, that moment you're waiting for, when everything spiritually, financially, everything is in alignment. This 9 of Pentacles is that moment. So that moment is just a little bit away. It's not far off. And it's just about holding your ground. And like I said, doing so in a space of faith and compassion. Right. So if you can channel that energy, like I said, with everything with my mom and all the healing that we've done and leaving, I was sad, and I could have sat there and just dissolved into just being sad about it. But I understood where it was coming from, and I was compassionate. I gave myself the freedom to cry, but I also looked at what I'm going to be enjoying about the move, and all the things about being on my own and also living in that house, right? So I see myself living in the house, getting up in the morning and grabbing a tea and going outside and, enjoying the outside, being outside with Cass, being able to do, other things outside. So I moved myself to the space of already there, already embodying or being in that space, and the excitement of it and the joy of it. Like, I don't know how many times in the last few days where I would just randomly, be sitting here with my mom and just randomly go, oh my God, I can't wait. Like, I'm going to have like trees around me, and, like I'm going to get up. I can't wait to get up in the morning and go outside and sit on the grass with a tea and ground and have tea, right? I can't wait to, and I would just talk about all the things that I was looking forward to. I can't wait to have well water again and not be on town water. I can't wait to see all the stars in the sky because I won't have all the light pollution of the city. I can't wait, right? So I just started talking like that. And, so instead of sitting in the energy of, oh my God, or is it, or like, there's no questioning, there's no fear, there's no lack. It's just pure excitement about the journey that's ahead and seeing myself in that space. So that's what you're asked to do at this time, is stay the course and know that it's right there. You just have to have that faith for a little bit longer. And it's the hardest moments right now to have that faith, because it may seem like it's the most urgent, or it's the most dire, or the need is the deadline is really close, right? And that's when you need to have the faith the most, because it's when it's going to be the most tested. But we've got this harmony and one big happy family. Like, this is emotional completion with the 10, and it's just fulfillment. It's being at peace and happy. And this, is finding either that partnership, right, or having that balance, right? The lovers isn't necessarily having a divine partner, although it could, and hopefully it's a sacred union. I am going to be doing a big lesson on that. I'm going to be doing a big webinar. It'll probably be a 3-day event, because I think one day I'm going to dedicate to divine feminine, the next day divine masculine, and then the final day sacred union. And I'm not sure, I might charge like $33 for it. So it's like literally $11 per day for this training session that I'm going to do. And I'll let you guys know when I have all the materials ready and all ready to go for that. I'll let you know when that's ready, because I have to plan it celestial as well. Right. I have to plan it celestial as well. And I don't like $33, I think feels really, really good, because like the $11 per day, like, I don't know, it just feels like a good number. And me and my threes. That's why I put the gifts the way that I do. It's not because I think people are going to give me 333 penny gifts, or I think the second one's like in the 150 range. And then the other one is probably in the 500 range, although sometimes I make the one that's 1,000. But I put those up there because I go 333 for the 1 penny gift, and then the next gift, which is 100, I do 33, and then the next gift that's like 1,000, I do 3. So then it goes 369. When it ends up at the end, it's 369. It's all just the math that I do. It's not because I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to get 300 or whatever, that number of gifts. It's just funny. Okay, so we've got our love coming in, or we've got our harmony and balance that's coming in, and it's here, right? So we've got everything that we're looking for is coming, right? It is coming. It's just, it's almost there. It's this moment that you're being tested the most, to just hold on and just wait. And just wait. Yeah, there's a few little mini courses that I want to do. I'm going to do a course on dimensions, so that I'm going to talk about what dimensions really are, and how we move through dimensions, and how we embody dimensions, because it's, people have the concept of like, it's like, you're in the 3rd dimension, and then you ascend to the 4th dimension, and you don't see anything in the 3rd dimension anymore. You're not connected to the 3rd dimension. Like, it's a separate space, or a separate plane, or it's a separate reality, or something like that, or a different layer at least. And so I want to talk about what all about the different things surrounding dimensions, and just really educate us on those. There's a lot of things that I have coming down the pipes for education. I do have some stuff that I have on my website, like that are books. The one book that I have on there is the Divergence Code, and it's about the truth about ADHD and neurodivergent souls. And it's a beautiful little book that has lots of little practical stuff that you can do within it. Every chapter has like either journal prompts or practical practices. There we go. Practices for you to do. And I also have a depression book that I'm going to publish on my website as well, which is also has at the end of each chapter, it has practical or practices that you could do. It has practices to do to help with that. Yeah. And there's a bunch of different educations that I want to do. But if you're not, if you're looking for a group space, definitely join the free group on my website. Right. And I have 6 groups that I manage. I have my free group, which is the Temple of Light. I post in there minimally 3 times a week for the Temple of Light, but it's actually more than that. So in the Temple of Light, which is the free group, I post on Mondays, Celestial Sparks. On Tuesday, I post the journal for the live. That's on Tuesday. So I post a companion journal for the live. On Wednesday, on Wednesday, there's no post because on Thursday, you get two, because on Thursday, you get transmission Thursday, but you also get the journal for today's live. Hi, love. And then on Friday, there's no post. On Saturday, there's a reflection post. And that doesn't mean that there's never a post. Friday is just a day where there's not a guaranteed post. If there is, it's because it came up for another reason to post in there. So the groups that I have the Temple of Light, like I said, which is free. There are 3 groups that are in a tier space, and they're the Ascension Gateway, the Guardian Pathway, and the Christic Mastery Circle. And these are for people that really want to ascend and embody like grid work and light worker and star seeds and all of that stuff, right? Like those particular spaces. So if you want to do planetary grid work, if you want to, learn the truth about certain things, do like collective healings and things like that. That was cool. That was cool. I had to pick it because it was new. It was new. And I'm like, I got to check out what that one's like. That was pretty cool. So the Ascension Gateway is the 1111 group. So it's $11.11 per month. You get early access to the Truth Will Set You Free podcast. You get exclusive teachings that are for that particular for the Truth Will Set You Free podcast series. I have a public teaching series. There's also the Hidden Earth series, which is another podcast series. The first episode was on the Muria. So all of those get dropped into that group early, and some of them exclusively to that group. You get other things I post in that group regularly with activations, meditations, invocations, reflections, all kinds of stuff. No, the first group is free. The Temple of Light. And I do a lot of stuff within that group. Again, there are reflections, activations, the companion journals for my lives. Tons of stuff gets put in that group. You can ask some of the people that are in it. The Ascension Gateway group is $11.11 per month Canadian. When you move up to the Gateway, to the Guardian, that's good for you. That's good for you. I disagree. That our spiritual gifts are meant to be free. And I believe that if you're not careful, you can tie yourself up into karma. It's all about sovereignty and choice. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with everything that I put out there and everything that I do. There is absolutely zero things wrong with me asking for 1111 for a group. I can't live for free, right? I can't live for free, unfortunately. If I could, I would do it for free, but I can't. The world that we live in requires a monetary exchange for us to live. And until it doesn't require a monetary exchange, then that means that I need to make money. That's unfortunately the way that it goes. And I do so much for free anyway, like on my lives, what I do in my lives, what I do in so many things is like so much stuff I do is free. So I have, I've worked through my any issues that I had around that. So anyway, and like I said, this is like anyone that's here is like, I know everything. Yep. It finds a way. It finds a way. It absolutely does. Got me right with my tea. I forgot what I was talking about. We were talking about education. Oh, the groups. Okay. Never mind. I was like, yes, I remember now why I was talking about the groups. So the Ascension Gateway as 1111, you get early teachings in that group. You get activations, invocations. You get, there's tons of stuff that goes on in that group. When you move up to the Guardian Pathway, you keep everything in your group. You keep the group, the Ascension Gateway group, and then you add on to it. And it's 2222. So with the Guardian Gateway, we meet once a month, and that's where the extra 1111 really goes to, is because we end up sitting down and having a meeting once a month. And we either do a planet-wide healing, we do something for Mother Gaia, we do some big education session, some activation, some grid work or field work stuff, because you're learning to be a guardian of light. And then in the Christic Mastery Circle, which is the final or the highest tier of those particular groups, that one's 4444. We meet an additional time in that group. You also have access in that group to a free question every month. You can ask a question and I will channel through a variety of spaces. So you can pick who you want a channeled message from. There, we meet in that group for a session. Whether this last one we were doing gridlock dissolution. So we were disrupting the gridlock. So we do that within that group. And again, the content that you get provided in those groups increases as you increase through the groups as well, but you keep your admission within the lower groups, like you don't lose those ones. I also have the Oracle Chamber and the Still Waters Temple, and those are slightly different ones. The Oracle Chamber, it's about planetary alignments, it's about channeled messages, it's a bit more prophetic, and it's more connecting into that level of stuff, whereas the Inner Temple is about healing, and it's a soft space to heal where your inner voice is heard, and it's just a really soft reflective space. In both of those groups, there is the again, the Still Waters group, there is a meeting in person, or having a meeting every month as well within that group, where we sit down together and we do a transmission, and then we do some reflection as well. So yeah, so all of those groups that I do, they range in price from $11.11 to the most expensive one is $44.44, and that's the Christic Mastery Circle. All the other ones are under that price, so they're available there. I do one-to-one soul sessions. I channel messages from your Oversoul to in either letter or voice format, depending on how much of a message you want, or if you want specific advice or answers to certain questions. And obviously the voice note is just a deeper look at that. I also do guardian activations, which are pretty big. They're $88 right now. And yeah. And then I have education and healings and all kinds of stuff. And you can go check out my website, and I have books, I got some stuff. So yeah, so that's all we're going to talk about for today. I appreciate you guys, and I love your support. And who wants some cards? Because we'll talk about I think what I'll do is I'll record the Gate of Devotion episode. I'll just record it and I'll put it up on the YouTube channel. And then maybe I'll take a clip and put it on TikTok or whatever, but it'll be on the YouTube channel instead of doing that today. And today we'll just hang out and we'll do some cards. We'll do some cards for a little bit. And then I'm going to go and hang out with the group from the Bridge to Light program. All right. Carol was first, although it doesn't show up because apparently they thought please might need to be, they're like, now that PLZ, that's looking kind of sus. Block that from being seen, guys. Don't let her see that. We don't know what Carol's saying with PLZ. You spelled it out, and it's still, that's so hilarious. Like, why? Why would it mute please? Please. Don't insult me, Carol. Like, that was just funny. Right, they're literally going to what keywords are you deleting? Sorry to insult with please, right? Like, how are you deleting keywords? What keywords are you deleting? Where'd you find these keywords? Who put please in there? All right. Good, bad, and love were in there? Wow. That's just crazy. Okay, Carol. Weird. Thank you for catching that. Apparently something with those were all filtered. You go ahead. You delete all the keywords that are silly out of there. All right, Carol, you got the Queen of Cups. Okay, so the Queen of Cups is, she's intuitive, she's emotional, she's, very in tune with her dreams and her intuition. um, emotionally in charge. When it's like this, there's some emotions that are being suppressed. So it's almost like what I'm getting is there's some conversations that you need to have. Um, right? Wow. I wonder who put them in there. I wonder, right? Like, because I definitely didn't block anybody that said that. Like, that's so weird. So weird. All right. I'm being encouraged to check in on so is there something like are you feeling a lack of support, Carol? Like a lack of reciprocity? You got filtered before. Yeah. Like I'm just like I think you're not and you need to talk about it. Like that's what's coming up. So that's what the queen of it's I'm like I don't know. I'm being taught I'm being definitely need to check in with her energy and just tap in. But yeah, that's what I'm getting for you. So, you know, TT, you have to speak your truth, baby. You have to. And sometimes what we do is we think the conversation has to be an argument. And because we perceive that it has to be an argument, we in fact create that dynamic within it, right? When we think about like, there's so many different ways to state your case or to, you know, express yourself. And if you do so from the space of love, right, it can be received the only way that it can, right? And that's not on you. Yeah, you can go in and remove the ones that got filtered in your lives. You can take them out. Like you can delete them. I don't know about changing the words, right? Like if you could go in and say the word was, I don't know. I'm trying to think of one that could be interpreted one or then like different ways. Could be positive or negative, but yeah, yeah, you can add or delete. Yep. So yeah, I mean, essentially, if you can delete it, then you can add the other one in and fix it, right? Like, yeah. Alrighty. That's beautiful. Okay. I gotta go back because I remembered. Monstrosity, Crystal. I was like, which order were we in? It's been a while since I've done cards, so remembering order was all right. Dark Till Dawn. Illuminated. Woo! Look at that. Because there was a rebirth. It absolutely was a rebirth. Which is beautiful, right? There's this like totally new you. Shed those old layers, let them go. And the other card here is the Knight of Cups. But immediately when I saw it, I didn't even see the whole thing. I just saw the pink color, and I was pretty sure I knew what card it was. But the message that came from my Oversoul is about really about you romanticizing this part of the journey, like romanticizing yourself, and you know, like fall in love with this moment, fall in love with this rebirth and who you're creating and your life in general, right? And the more that you love your life, the more your life is going to love you back. That's what the message that came down from that. So in this is a beautiful moment of rebirth. Embrace it and just pour love into that experience, and it's going to bloom. It is absolutely going to bloom. You're welcome. You're welcome. I love it. All right, monstrosity. Because I said crystal and I meant to say dark till dawn. I was reading for dark till dawn, and then at some point I think I did say crystal, but I meant to say dark till dawn. I just saw your name come up and said it, switched over. So now I'm going to do crystal. But that was dark till dawn, the rebirth. Romanticize yourself, love yourself. The more that you love yourself, your life, dawn, the more that it's just going to be magical. Now, this came out for you, Crystal, which is the Empress in the inverted position. So this is about there's something that is being birthed right now, and it may not be quite But I feel like it's more about, like, when you look at the Empress, not only is she like the divine mother, she's, the representation of divine feminine, she is like um, a portal. She is intuitive. She is smart, savvy. Like, she's that height, right? Like like the emperor, as the legacy and leadership and empowerment in that state, but in the feminine capacities of, in not in leadership in the same way, but in that feminine way that we embody our power and our leadership. And when it's in the shadow, it could be that you need to connect more. For me, I'm getting it from my guides that it's about connecting more with the earth, with, really making sure that you're getting outside, you're grounding, you're remembering that beautiful relationship that we're meant to have with Mother Gaia, right? And that it's a partnership. Right? That it's a partnership, because if we need to be embodying the feminine too. And I understand, like, for a single mom or, for a single woman, that you have to marry the sacred union between all of us do. We're marrying the sacred union between our divine feminine and our divine masculine. And what I'm getting from this is that you're sitting a bit more in your divine masculine than the divine feminine. And it's understandable. You're looking after children, you're protecting them, providing for them, you're caring for yourself, you're providing for yourself. So it's understandable that you have to be embodying that masculine energy. And this is just telling you to embody the feminine more, that you need to embody that feminine energy more. So softening, sitting in receptivity, right? Because receiving is a huge part of abundance. Right? Many of us are blocked in that receiving space. We're good with giving. We give and give and give and give, and we'll give some more, but we get blocked in the receiving space. So I'm making somebody laugh. That makes me happy. So yeah, there's these beautiful new ideas that got a lot of power and potential and stuff, but just sit with them for a minute before birthing them into the world, connect in with the feminine and feel into when is the right time to be birthing, something new, connect with Mother Gaia to have that cohesive relationship, that partnership. Okay. You're planting a seed. We need the earth to plant the seed. Right? Okay. All right. Hi, good morning, Tammy. Yeah, we're going to connect shortly. Did you want a card, love? Hi, Chickadee. Hi, Wonder Woman. Hee hee. Yeah, we're doing a little special today. Well, I don't know which one it was that. It's so funny when it takes time before you can see the filtered one. Anyway, I know that Wonder Woman's on the list for a card. And Salasia does, and Tammy does. We'll get everybody cards here. I just got to go back up because I can't remember who was after. I know Rejoice wants a card. All right, Rejoice is next. Rejoice is next, and then right? It's so weird that it filtered a lot of the stuff that it filtered. Right? Okay, Rejoice. So the card that showed up for you is the Eight of Cups, but in the inverted position. And the Eight of Cups is about walking away from and letting go of something. And oftentimes the reason why we have a hard time letting go of something is because we see it as an absenteeism. Like we're losing that. We're not going to have it replaced. That was an interesting one there. So it's like that it's founded in lack, right? It's founded in, so we oftentimes will hold on to and align with things that aren't aligned with us. And we stay holding on to it because we would rather have something than nothing. We sometimes think that that's the best that we deserve, or, like, because we have some traumas that are there. So we think that we deserve some level of, whatever, or we think that that our relationships are meant to have some levels of dysfunction, right? Like, it's just normal. That's just normal. Like, no relationship is 100%. No relationship is, they'll say no relationship is perfect, right? And it's true. There's no relationship that is perfect. But what ends up happening is, because whatever we were raised in, and this doesn't necessarily mean it's a relationship. Walking away from something could be a career. It could be a job. So I'm like, where did I put the card? I think I stuck it back in. I did. Stuck it back on the top of the deck. So the other card behind it is this, like, whatever you're doing, you want to have passion. You want to feel like a fire in you. You should feel like there's a motor that's just driving you in the direction of it, right? It's not about pulling teeth. It's not about beating yourself up. It's not about force. It's just about alignment, right? It's just about feeling what is aligned with you and doing it in the flow while having structure, right? There is some structure that you have to have, right? Like, it's important that you eat healthy every day, not that you diet for a week and then go off of it and then, and then do it and don't do it, right? It has to be a consistent thing. So, that's the part of structure, right? Like, some of my stuff is structured. I have my Tuesdays and Thursday lives. They're structured. But much of my life outside of that is flow. I don't have something where I have to, at 7 a.m., I have to get up. At 9 a.m., I have to be doing this. At 11 a.m., I have to be doing this. I have Friday batch content creation and time for appointments. So if I ended up getting appointments scheduled on Friday, then I would take the appointments and I would do the batch recording outside of that, right? That's the way that I have scheduled my life. And so that I have as much freedom. Now, I know that I should work out every day. I should go for a walk every day. I should eat right every day. But I don't need to schedule that into my life, right? I can do it structured, or I can do it in flow. Sorry, I can do it in a flow way. So it doesn't have to be that this is necessarily a partner or anything like that. This could be that you're just removing something or need to let go of something. It could be a job. It could be healthy. It could be habits, right? But whatever you're doing, it should fire you up and it should move you in the direction of it. You shouldn't feel like you're forcing yourself or you're doing it because of these silly things, right? Like, many of us will do it because, well, I want to have that new title, or I'm going to do it because I want to have millions and millions of dollars, right? Which, in a true healthy environment, nobody would be hoarding wealth while other people are starving. Like, that's a distorted matrix that we're living in, right? What's the point of hoarding money? What is the point? What is the point? Right. So anyway, your reading is to definitely assess what it is that's not in alignment with you, and don't be afraid to let it go. Just embrace what's coming and embrace it with enthusiasm, and let whatever fires you up take you in that direction. Exactly. That's my daily goal too. Stay in alignment with my oversoul. I agree. Okay. So we had Salasia and Tammy for cards. So Salasia, what does Salasia? Ooh. Well, get fired up, friend. Something's going to fire you up. Yeah. That's what I just did with Rejoice. Yeah. So I'm going to ask to pull another card. Okay. So the 9 of Pentacles is the card about spiritual, financial, like you are confident and assured in who you are in your life. Your life is peaceful. It's productive. It's financial. Sorry. Like you're safe and you're taken care of. You're at peace. Life is beautiful. when you're at the Nine of Pentacles. When it's in this place, it could be that there's a lack of peace, and that could be, you know, this fiery energy here. I know that something's like not 100% in your realm. But the Knight of Wands doesn't necessarily mean fiery in a bad way. It could be some passion. It could be some excitement. It could be forward momentum. But I feel like we need to have a conversation, and you need to come to class. That's what your card's telling me. There is an element of making sure that you're asking for help and stuff like that, because I know you like to do the lone wolf type of thing. You're the one that people come to. You're not the one that comes to people. So you can come and hang out with us, Salasia. You come and hang out with us right after this. Right after this. All righty. I'll pull cards for Tammy. I haven't seen Tammy in a little while, and we're going to see each other shortly here, but I'm going to pull some cards for Tammy. What does Tammy need to hear today, Spirit? Can I get a good message for Tammy? Tammy's cards are the cards that have taken the longest. Everybody else's cards came out quite quickly. But you got the Giant Yes card. So if there's something that you've been thinking about, this card's saying yes. There's an energy of growth and embodiment, like a level up. A little bit of like level up energy. And I think there's, you know, you're at the precipice of the next level, and there may be something that's new that's come into your life, or something that you're thinking about doing or starting, or there's some, you know, change that you're thinking about making, and you're just a little bit hesitant to do it. And this is telling you, definitely go ahead. Like, follow the inner light that you have, follow the yeses, right? If something lights you up, if something makes you go like this, all right, go do it. Go get it. Ah, the fairy wing. That's the best one. That is the best one. So what's coming up? What's coming up that's new? What are you thinking about doing? What is this newness that you're maybe hesitating? Yeah, those fairy wings, they were the best. They were super cute. Or do we gotta just talk in class in the get together session for the Bridge to Light program? Just want to talk there. Yeah, good. Because I'm going to tell you, I am surprised and impressed, and I'll explain more when we're in class. But I am surprised and impressed, and so that's awesome. And I can't wait to touch base and see how you've been doing in the last few weeks. Very excited indeed. So yeah, if you're looking for healing, that's available on my website too. It is. Okay, what do you think, guys? Does anybody else want cards? I think it's just the 6 of us now. I think everybody have done 6 cards. Because if that's the case, then we can call this oh, Wonder Woman. There you are. Yep. Perfect. Perfect. Wonder Woman. Let's see. What is this? What is Sphere? What do we got for Wonder Woman? Okay. The the Seven of Swords in the Shadow Seer position, and the Seven of Swords in the Shadow Seer position means that there's potentially manipulation or lies or deception or things that are going on kind of, like shadowy, like maybe there's somebody in your midst that you don't fully trust, or maybe you're not being 100% honest to you. There is the potential with the Seven of Swords that it's an internal thing, not an external thing. Hi, Xandrian. How are you? But there's definitely deception in the midst. So it's an important time for you to really be cautious, just paying attention, just discern what is the truth, right? And to be fair, Wonder Woman, we're all living in a world with a lot of deception, right? Like when you think about collectively and, like spiritually, the lies that we've been told and stuff like that. So, there is deception all around us. And it could be, like what might be is that there could be, oh my goodness, that was super cute. It's a blooming heart. It could be that, like, I don't know if you're interacting with healers or things like that. Like there might be somebody that you're interacting with whose content that you're watching, who may be not 100% true light. Like there's some false light dynamics to what they're sharing with you, right? It could be like even something as subtle as that, right? Like if there's someone whose content that you ingest, right? Like when we think about people like, there's people that I would out on it, but again, it's it's you got to be cautious with what you're doing, right? So you just have to be aware of the language that they're using, right? Anyone that you're ingesting content from, especially spiritually, they should be teaching you sovereignty, and it should never be looping you into a situation where you're reliant on them. There's something about a decision as well that came up with the Two of Swords being in a shadow, where there's like some decision that needs to be made, and this might be something that's coming up. It might not be quite in your field yet, but it feels like there's a hesitancy to make a decision in some way there. I'm seeing if your guides or if you're Oversoul, like if anyone's got anything to share on that point. Or like, are you telling yourself you can't do things, like you can't do it? Like, is it like almost like a bit of imposter syndrome, almost like not thinking that you're right? So you're almost lying to yourself about your capabilities, or lying to yourself, like that's what I mean about the deception can come from internal, because there is the Emperor here, and so my mind initially was maybe it was the Emperor that's lying. Then that's why I thought about the ingesting content of a healer, or somebody that there might be somebody that, looks like very, like they have a lot of authority or a lot of knowledge or a lot of wisdom, or, like when somebody's like, 6-figure months, and, we're going to get you 6-figure months, and, in 30 days you get 6-figure months, or, like, when they're talking about, queen, or, like goddess energy and stuff like that, those are looping statements, because well, and just there's a bunch of stuff, and I'm eventually going to put out some content around identifying like some of the false language that loops you, right? That catches you into loops and stuff like that, and how to identify to remain sovereign. Those are things that we do talk about in the Ascension Gateway, Guardian Pathway, and Christic Mastery Circles. But there will be some that I'll drop into the channels, like in the social channels for people. So yeah, it's those are the two things that came up for me, and that's a possibility as well. Like maybe the thing is interacting with somebody who's got some content that is, a bit false light, which has you doubting yourself, or cycling back in thinking you need more from them, need to learn more, or need to get more, or, you're not quite ready yet. Yeah, maybe. Or just that self-doubt in yourself, so you're hesitant to start, so you're not making the decision that you need to make. But if you just made the decision, then you would become the Emperor. I assure you they are. You know what and this is plugging me, I know, and it's so funny when I do it, but I'm saying this because I think that's something that would be really amazing for you. And that is the soul letter that I do. And what I do is I channel your oversoul and your guides, and I write a letter from them to you. And right now I have them as $33 on my website. You can also like through that link, the PayPal link, not the PayPal link, no, through my website. Through my website, the PayPal link would work, but that's just the donation link. I was like, no, wait, that's not the right link. That's a donation link. And although that works, if you did go to the donation link, you could say $33 soul note. And then when you're filling out the thing, just make sure I have an email that I can send you the soul note through. But if you go through the website, it just makes it easier. But they're so powerful. To hear from your soul, the one lady that, I mean, I don't even know how to speak about it sometimes, because I'm just like it's just so powerful. I think about how, like, in my journey, how many times it would have been nice before I opened up the lines of communication and stuff. And even now, right, there's sometimes when it's nice to have somebody come out and say, hey, this is what your oversoul, this is what your higher self is saying, right? Hi, Alicia, how are you? Yeah. So it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful offer that I have. And there's a larger one called the Oversoul voice note, and that. So if you go onto the website, if on my Anshara'El.com, when you go, there's a menu on the side and it'll say walk with me, and that'll take you to the link to have it done. It's so, I don't even know, like, soothing is a word for it. It brings peace. It's so enlightening. It can be so bittersweet. It's so empowering, right? The letter, it can be so empowering. I think is really, we're calling this, look at how bright it got when we were talking about the soul note being empowering. Thank you. Thank you. Because it is. It's just beautiful. They're beautiful. Alrighty. I think we're gonna, is everybody good, or did anybody else want a card before I go? Because I'll give you a card, but otherwise we'll see you on Tuesday. Potentially I'll do a live in between now and then. I don't know. I go with the flow on that. If I feel really drawn to do a live, then I'll jump on and do a live. But if not, Marcella, absolutely. Marcella. Let me see if I can get a good message from Marcella from Prime Source, Oversoul, Guides, Ascended Masters, Higher Councils. So what are you working on? What are you working on? Because this Nine of Cups, this is like the card that everybody wants, right? This is the card that everybody wants, because this is the ship coming in. This is, glory and bounty and abundance and joy, right? Like, this is emotional fulfillment is what this card is emotional fulfillment. Man, I can help you with your self-confidence. Definitely. The card on the bottom is the Five of Wands in the Shadow Seer position. So I'm going to say, there was a saying before that said, before you diagnose yourself with depression, first make sure you're not surrounded by assholes. And that's a really valuable statement, like very powerful statement. If people around you treat you like crap, right, it's easy to understand how your confidence or how your confidence could be low if you're around people that beat you up and tear you down, right? So sometimes you actually, in order to have that self-confidence, you have to leave the environment that you're in, or you have to at least put boundaries up around people that are doing that, right? And I talked to my mom about this the other day, because it's my truth. My truth is that your family should treat you better than strangers. Right? Your family should treat you way better than strangers, because they love you. They're supposed to be, like the blood, they're like, that's blood, That's your blood, right? And it's like, yeah, well, then if that's my blood, that person should be supporting me. That person should be my champion. That person should be looking at how can we have a healthy relationship together, because it's a two-part thing. Like that's your family should be your team. Exactly. It should be your team. And if you're not finding peace, safety, security, authenticity, if you're not loved and supported and seen by the people around you, then they're not your family, or at least it shouldn't matter. Now, the thing is that we don't come in here, and it's not like when I talked about the sunflower, right? If you take a little cluster of seeds in that sunflower, that's the soul family. And as you get further away, they become less. And it's not actually even that way. When we look at the way that souls were created, initially when God separated, he created 12. And then from that 12, there was 144,000 moments later. And then there was another layer and another layer. And all of these were seeded at different times. So there are some that came in the first 12, and some that came in the 144, and some that came in the, exponential numbers of later generations of souls. The further the generation from that was seeded, the less connected to source they are. And then you can understand why we see what we see in the world today. So some of the people that are our family, they may be seeded later in life, but the people that are your soul family, you've been with them since the first moment that you were birthed into individuality. And so you're going to feel that some people in your life you have a really strong connection to, and they're your friend. But they're your family, and you feel that, right? And I have several people that I have in my group that are my family. And you'll have family members who you've never, ever experienced life with them before. You came in on this lifetime with a contract. They were meant to be a catalyst to propel you towards change. And that was it. It was a one and done, and out you go. Bye-bye, right? But we have been conditioned within the inverted matrix that we're in to think that blood is thicker than water. And, while, that could be true, it's not, because we have families that treat us like crap. We've experienced an enormous amount of trauma, and the members that are in our family aren't actually our soul family. They're people who were asked to play a part to help you to do what you needed to do or wanted to do within your incarnation. Right? It's a contract or an agreement. Like I would have had an agreement with my dad, who is definitely not my soul family, but I had an agreement with my dad for him to be a big catalyst in my life with all the things that he was going to do. Now, he really went above and beyond. He didn't have to do the things he did, but my dad was also corrupted, right? He was also in very much shadow self. Right? So it's a matter of just looking at who feels like sunshine, who elevates you, who loves you, who sees you, who supports you, and just surround yourself with those people. And if it's not your family, it's not your family. Like if it's not like the people who are associated to you by blood, that's okay. You should never tolerate somebody treating you like crap. And if they're your family, they should treat you better than strangers do. And so that's, yeah. Caper girl. I get a good message for Caper Girl. Hi, Jer Bear. How are you, love? Okay, Caper Girl. We decided to do a little throwback to some cards today. Well, Caper Girl, you got an Empress and the Queen. All right, the Empress and the Queen together. That's a lot of powerful energy. Something that you're birthing is definitely legacy style wealth, right? This is something that you are going to be embodying your divine feminine. The Queen of Pentacles is a self-made entrepreneur who has, is completely financially supported. She's a healer. She's a strong individual. And of course, the Empress, she's like literally birthing things into reality and is an example of the divine feminine. So this is very beautiful, nurturing, healing, energy of like birthing, but also longevity of whatever it is that you're birthing. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. All right. Anybody else for cards? And if not, then we're going to head off and we're going to have our little get together with the crew. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Minnie. I don't know if you guys stuck around, but hello, Ben. Oh, Bree. All right. Can I get a card for Bree? Let's see, Spirit. Can we get a good message for Bree? Okay, Bree is fighting with indecision. There's something that she needs to make a decision on, and she's not. So her brain's kind of going back and forth. What should I do? A lot of activity in the brain, right? And I can understand that. Hi, Steve. You're welcome. Maybe there's some like conflict, competition, comparison energy within that. Let's see what else we can get for Bree. Yeah, there's like, we've got the 10 of cups in the shadow seer position, and also the tower card came out. So I'm just going to give them both of them cards with it. So the tower card, when it's in shadow, is narrowly avoiding disaster. And sometimes we think the things that we didn't get is like us, being denied, or we think of it as a bad thing, but we don't realize that sometimes the relationship that didn't happen, it's for the best, because had that relationship happened, that person was going to be abusive, right? Or you would have ended up in a much worse situation. So without realizing it, you've been protected, and divinely so. Right. So sometimes the things that we don't get is exactly what we think we wanted it, but it's not in alignment with us. And it feels like this is something, very emotional, and, like I said, because of the 10 of cups being in shadow. So, the 10 of cups is usually the one big happy family. It's emotional, abundance and fulfillment. And, like everything is just beautiful in life, and potentially at that state of peace. So when it's in a shadow, it means that there's definitely some, not necessarily peace where they're within the family dynamics, or in the home life, or in the emotional aspect. So there's something that's, something that's coming up in that energy. So the important thing is always to go, one, to the breath, two, to a reflection on it, like asking yourself why, like with whatever it is, if it's like a comparison thing or this indecision that you have, right? Sit with that and ask yourself, like when you really sit with the decisions that you have to make, and there's several of them, one way to do it is to sit and feel into your body and what feels like it is more of a grounded or a peaceful or stable energy, or what is a expansive, flowing, free, airy kind of response in your body. So it'll either feel like you're really grounded, or it's going to feel like you're really open and expressive. Like it's not going to feel tight, constricted, caged, fearful. You can feel anxiety, fear, and excitement and nervousness. Like they can all feel fairly similar. They have like a similar, you can almost say a flavor point. They have a similar vibrational resonance among them. But if you can look at, it as nervous instead of, Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lots in the feeling. So, like going into that and reflecting on it, and why are these emotions coming up for me in this way? And then feeling into, like I said, when you're feeling into the decision and what feels right, what feels best in my body. And the other thing that helps too is when you do actually go worst case scenario. So when I got the surprise, like you have to move out of here, and you've got like two weeks to get out. And I know financially I wasn't in a position to just move like that. I don't have a stockpile of finances. If I did, I wouldn't have been living here, right? Like I wasn't living here like getting rich because I was staying with my mom. I was living here because I needed to stay with my mom, right? But when that choice, or when that thing came up, I went worst case scenario, I don't get the money and don't find a place and I'm homeless. That would be worst case scenario. Absolutely. So what would I do if that was going to happen? Well, first off, I have a friend, like my mom has friends. I could pitch a tent in their backyard. There we go. Solution. I'll walk over and spend the day at my mom's, sleep in a tent every night, come over and hang out with my mom all day long. Or if it's bad weather, I'll spend the night here. But technically, I'll live in a tent in someone's backyard, right? That's worst case scenario. Once I had that in my mind, that's worst case scenario. I'm like, perfect. It's not ideal, but at least I know what it is, right? I know what it is, and I can move beyond that. Like I can move beyond, or I move forward from that space. Okay. So sometimes that can help us, but you have to go through the process of, so what is the worst case scenario that could possibly happen? And if that happened, then what would I do? And if I did, that's it. That's what I would do. And then make the decision. Right. So yeah, All right. Love you guys. Anybody else for a card? I don't think so. I think I got everybody. Like I said, the content that I was going to do for today, I'll end up recording it just as a lesson, and I'll put it up on YouTube. I'm not sure exactly when, but later today, potentially. And then we'll see each other again, definitely on Tuesday, but if not on Tuesday, because maybe you got busy. Maybe I did an early one, maybe sooner. Or maybe you decided to connect with me through the website in some way or another. But I love you guys, and I hope you have an awesome day. Hi, Ninja Mama. How are you? I hope you have an awesome day. For those of you that are in the Bridge to Light, or in that group, the School of Light, you can come and hang out with me. I'm going to be doing it in the same. Yes, I'll let you know as soon as that's available. As soon as I have that up, I'll start talking about when I'm going to do it. I just want to look in on celestial alignment as to when would be the best days to do it, because it'd be nice to harness the energy of, the power of the celestials at the same time. Yeah, but yeah, I'm excited to do that course as well. Love you guys. Hi, Nona. All right, I'll see you guys later. Tuesday at the latest. Love you guys. Have a beautiful day. Mwah. Good day, Nona. If you're looking for, because you weren't here when I talked about that, Nona, but I think this is something that might interest you, so that's why I'm mentioning it. But I do have an offer on my website right now, and it's on, if you go to the website, it's on through the menu items, it's Walk With Me, and it'll talk about it there. But it's a soul letter that I channel from your higher self, written from your higher self, and guides to you that I send, that I'm sending to people. And so you might want to check that out, because that might be something, I don't know why, but my guides are telling me, mention it to her, because it's something that she may be interested in. It might be something that speaks to you. Yeah. Love you guys. All right. I'll see you guys in the meeting. Love you. All right. And I'll see you, the rest of you guys, here on Tuesday, or earlier, but Tuesday.